the Yamadutas are explaining to him. This is what they have understood as the principle of religion. So this is that verse. Sa esha prakriti sangena purushasya viparyayah asit sa eva na chirad isha sangad viliyate. So esha prakriti sangena. Prakriti sangena means association with prakriti, this material nature. Because we have left the association of the Supreme Personality of God in the spiritual world, and we desired prakriti sangena because we desired to enjoy, we wanted to lord over. So this enjoyment or lording over can happen only in this prakriti, in this material world. So prakriti sangena, we took association of prakriti in this material world. What was the result of prakriti sangena? Purushasya viparyayah. Purushasya here is referring to us, the human being. This Purushasya has become viparyayah. Viparyayah means we are in a very awkward situation. Viparyayah. Viparititani. Arjuna says in the Bhagavad Gita. Viparitani means everything has become opposite. I came here for happiness, but here I see that I have to kill my own brothers and my grandfather and my teachers. It is opposite. This is not happiness. So in the same way, because of Prakriti Sangena, things for us have become viparyaha. It has become very awkward because this is not our natural position to be here. Our natural position is to be in the spiritual world with the Supreme Lord, just like the natural position of a child is to be with his father. If he is not with his father, he will be in a viparyaha, in a very awkward situation. Then he says, Asit sa eva na chirad. Isha sangad viliyate. Viliyate means, but this viparyaha, this awkward situation, viliyate can be overcome. Viliyate can be overcome if instead of prakriti sangena we do isha sangena. Isha sangad viliyate. We can overcome this by isha sangena. And it is further said that sa eva, that position, that prakriti sangena, which is viparyaha, which is very awkward. You may question how much time it will take us to overcome this. It is mentioned here, na chirad. It doesn't take a long time. Chirad means a very long time. Na chirad means very quickly it can happen if we do isha sangena properly. So this is the summary of this verse. Since the living entity is associated with material nature, he is in an awkward position. But if in the human form of life, he is taught how to associate, it's not just associating with Supreme Personality of Godhead, but how to associate with Supreme Personality of Godhead or his devotee, his position can be overcome. Viliyate. And we are always hankering after that real happiness. How to overcome these miseries. This is what we are always hankering after. So there are many points in this verse. Some few important points. Let us see what Prabhupada is mentioning. There are about 5 important points in this verse and the purport that is mentioned, that comes out in the Bhagavatam. So the first point is, we have to understand our current reality, our current situation. Our current situation is that we are in Prakriti Sangena, because of which all the suffering is happening. Because in this Prakriti Sangena, we can never be happy because it is an unnatural position. Just like many times Prabhupada gives that example, if you are in the sea, in your ship, being in the sea, being in an ocean is an unnatural position. There will be so much of storms and so much of upheaval in the ship, and because being in water is not a natural position, we are meant to be on land. So what is this unnatural position and what happens when we associate with this material nature? Govinda Das has very nicely brought it out in one of his songs, Bhaja Hure Mana. He says about this Prakriti Sangena, Sita Atapa Bata Barishana Edina Jamini Jagire. A perfect description of what is Prakriti Sangena Govinda Das is bringing out. Sita Atapa Bata Barishana Edina Jamini Jagire. Dina and Jamini, day and night, I am awake, struggling and fighting the forces of nature, working hard in this material world. Sita Atapa, whether it's sometimes very cold, Atapa is sometimes very hot, Bata Barishana, sometimes lot of storm, torrential rain. But in spite of, we don't like this. We don't want very hot, very cold, torrential rain, this, that. But in spite of all these things, day and night I am working very hard. This is Prakriti Sangena. And what am I doing day and night? Working so hard for whom? Vifale Sevinu Kripana Durajana. We are useless. Vifale Sevinu. I am serving, but useless service. Because the result is not something enjoyable. Result is so much of stress, so much of anxiety, so much of pain. I may get some happiness, some little happiness. And that is why he says, Chapala Sukha Labhalagire. Why I am taking so much of pain, trouble and all these things? To serve some miserly person. Kripana Durajana. Durajana, people whom we serve in the material world are like that. And I am doing, so one may wonder, okay, why am I putting in so much of effort, so much of trouble? Only because of a happiness which is very, very meager and flickering. Chapala Sukha Labha Lagire. To obtain, Chapala means flickering happiness. Means it will be there for some time and then it will disappear. But we have forgotten that we are not meant for Chapala Sukha. We are meant for, Krishna is telling in the Bhagavad Gita, Sukham Akshayam. Not Chapala Sukham. Sukham Akshayam Ashnute. We are all meant for enjoying unlimited happiness. That is our nature. But because of Prakriti Sangena, we have forgotten. Viparyayaha, a situation of forgetfulness. So this is our current situation. And then further he says, Govindas is depicting what is this Prakriti Sangena. He says, Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Talamala. A very beautiful line. If you can just remember this one line always with us, we will always be conscious of how serious we should be in Krishna consciousness and how dangerous position we are in the world, in our present situation. This world is in such a, we are in such a dangerous situation. Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Talamala. Like a drop of water on a leaf. It is tottering, it is tilting. You don't know when the water will fall off because the water can never stay on the leaf. It may fall off this moment, it may fall off that moment. Where it will fall off, don't know. So uncertain. The uncertainty of the drop staying on the leaf is 100%. We can, and any, so in the same way, our life is like that. Jivana talamala. Our life is tottering like a drop of water on a lotus leaf. If we are thinking that no, life is very nice, life is very happy, life is very good, then we are living in an illusion. No, Jivana Talamala. Jivana is going this way, that way. It is, we should be very, very conscious of this. Material existence means that Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. This is a place of suffering. Alayam. Alayam means a place where there is only dukkha. And so Govinda Das is saying what we should do. We should come out of this Prakriti Sangena. He is saying Bhajahu Haripada Niti Re. Bhajahu Haripada Niti Re. Constantly, always worship the lotus feet of Hari. So this worship Bhajahu Haripada Niti Re is Isha Sangena. This is the second point. The first point was Prakriti Sangena, association with the material nature. And if you have to come out of the association of material nature, we have to do Isha Sangena. So Isha Sangat Viliyate. So what is Isha Sangena? Prabhupada is writing here in the purport. Isha Sangena means he is quoting that verse from the Bhagavad Gita. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti so Arjuna. Janma karma cha me divyam. We must hear about the wonderful, glorious activities and the wonderful the transcendental pastime of Krishna's birth. Janma karma cha me divyam. Krishna's birth. So Isha Sangena is not something difficult. We may think, Isha Sangena, where is the Isha? How do I associate with him? Sangena means that person should be there if I have to associate with him, but Krishna is not there. We cannot see Krishna because of our conditioning. But Isha Sangena has been made very easy by Isha himself. Isha has said that I have given all my pastimes. My Bhagavad Gita is there, my Srimad-Bhagavatam is there. Just nicely read these pastimes with faith. So Janma Karma, just like Krishna's birth, it is such a wonderful thing. And this Isha Sangena is such a wonderful thing. Although I may be knowing it, I know everything. All of us have read Isha Sangena. We know those wonderful pastimes in the Srimad-Bhagavatam. How Krishna was born in such a wonderful arrangement, in such a wonderful way. His birth is not normal. Although we know it, Sangha means even if you know it, you constantly associate by hearing those pastimes over and over and over again. Because over and over and over again we have been associating with this Prakriti Sangena, same things, this material world, the same stories. So the same stories we have to hear about Isha Sangena. We should not feel that, oh, this story I have heard, this pastime I have heard, this portion I have read. No, again and again read it. And every time actually when you read it, you will find it Nitya Nutana. Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's leelas are Nitya Nutana. It is always transcendental. And if you just read it, you will find, every time we read the same Bhagavad Gita, every time we read the same Srimad-Bhagavatam or Mahaprabhu's pastimes, we find that something new has been revealed. How is it happening if the same thing is being read? How new things can reveal by reading the same things? All of us have this experience that whenever we read the same thing, something new gets revealed. In the material, if you read a material story, if you read the same story, nothing new will get revealed. In fact, you will feel more, you will feel like, oh my God, how can I give this up? Because that is material. But spiritual things, how new things are getting revealed every time you read it, that is a proof that it is spiritual, it is full of potency of Krishna. That is why the new things are getting revealed. So Janma Karma Chame Divyam, Krishna's birth is so wonderful. How Krishna appeared? He did not appear like a child ordinary appears through his mother and father. He first appeared in the heart of Vasudev. You see, so wonderful, just by understanding how can the child appear in the heart of Vasudev, and when he appeared in the heart of Vasudev, Vasudev was glowing beautifully like a radiant sun. Just like a sun glow is so illuminating and so brilliant, similarly Vasudev started glowing brilliantly because Krishna was in his heart. That's the starting of Krishna's birth. And then from the heart of Vasudev, Krishna got transferred to the heart of Devaki. And when that transfer happens, actually Bhagavatam is so nice, so beautifully, poetically it is described. It is said how Vasudev is describing in a very nice poetic form how the transfer of Krishna from the heart of Vasudev happened to the heart of Devaki. It is just like when the sun is setting on the western horizon, and sometimes at that time, same time in the eastern horizon, the moon is rising. You've seen many times it happens like that. Sun and moon are two different planets, two different things. Similarly, Vasudev and Devaki. So when the sun is setting, the sun is going to set, right? But before setting, it is illuminating the moon on the eastern horizon. It is all the rays of the sun is being transferred from the sun to the moon, and now the moon is getting illuminated. So in the same way, just like the sun rays are transferred from itself to the moon and it illuminates the moon, Krishna got transferred from the heart of Vasudev to the heart of Devaki, and when that happened, Devaki became very beautiful. She became very radiant. And then because Devaki became the residence of Krishna, Krishna was in Devaki's heart. And then finally Devaki, when he gave birth, Krishna took birth as a small baby, but immediately Krishna appeared in his four-handed form of Vishnu, just to prove to Mother Devaki, my dear mother, although I am a small boy, I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and I have appeared as your son. And then of course, because of Yogamaya, he again turned back to the small boy, and so that's the birth of Krishna. So like this, Krishna's birth, Janma Karma Chame Divyam. So many things about Krishna are Divyam. He killed karma, all his pastimes are also so Divyam. A small 3-month-old child killing a huge demon, Putana. When Putana died, the length of Putana was 12 kilometers. That huge demon, a 3-month-old child destroyed it. We know the whole pastime how Krishna killed Putana. And see, Krishna is so merciful, so compassionate, that although Putana came to poison Krishna, to kill Krishna, but Krishna killed her and sent her, gave her the same position as Krishna gave to Mother Yashoda. Because, why did Krishna give her the same position as Mother Yashoda? Because Mukti, liberation. Because Mother Yashoda was her mother, and Putana also came and acted like the mother because she wanted to feed baby Krishna. So that is how wonderful and how compassionate my Lord is. So when a devotee reads this, oh, my Lord is so compassionate, He is so wonderful, He is so merciful. So when we read these things, this is Isha Sangena. And the result of Isha Sangena is what? Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mam eti. This is the result of Isha Sangena. Punarjanma naiti. There will be no more rebirth. Because rebirth means again Prakriti Sangena. We want to be out of this Prakriti Sangena. So Krishna is telling, do Isha Sangena by hearing, chanting, reading, and Punarjanma Neti, Mameti, there will be no more rebirth, because rebirth is so much of suffering again. Dukkhalayam ashasvatam, Mameti, so Arjuna, come back to me. We are actually hankering after that position. Our place is that world. Satchid Ananda Vigraha is Krishna. And that Sat Chit Ananda, that eternal life, full of knowledge, full of happiness, is what we are also hankering, because actually we are also that minute Satchidananda, and that can be experienced only in that planet, in the spiritual. Mameti, so Arjuna, there is no more return. So this is the Isha Sangena. And Isha Sangena, Prabhupada is writing here in the purport, Isha Sangena not only means you associate with Krishna, but Isha Sangena also means that you associate with devotees of Krishna. And you hear from bona fide devotees of Krishna. If you are not hearing from the right, so Isha Sangena has got two meanings, Krishna and his devotees. And in the same poem, Govinda Das, in that same song, Govinda Das is also saying the same thing. Durlabha Manava Janama Sat Sange. We have to do in this life, after having obtained this wonderful, valuable, rare human form of life. That is what we have done. We have got a very, very rare opportunity. Durlabha Manava Janama Sat Sange. Isha Sange and Sat Sange means associating with the devotees. And what will happen with that? Same. Taroho e bhava sindhure. Two very important words mentioned here. Bhava Sindhu. We are in this Prakriti Sangena is again this Bhava Sindhu. We are in this ocean of worldly existence, ocean of suffering, miseries. There is no way to try to overcome this by staying here. If we are in an ocean, we can never cross over the ocean, no matter how competent swimmer I am. It is impossible. You have to just taroho. You can cross over this ocean by Isha Sangena. So that is Isha Sangena, and also with the help of Sadhu Sangena. Now, so the third thing is this Isha Sangena. From Prakriti Sangena we can do Isha Sangena, but result will come after how long? How much time will it take? People have this question. So will it be quick, or will it take a long time, or will it be gradual, but it will happen? What is the answer? The answer is all three are correct. It can take a very long time, it can gradually happen in this lifetime, or it can happen immediately. It can be quick also. It all depends on how seriously we are engaged in Isha Sangena. If we are not seriously engaged in Isha Sangena, then it will take a long time. But if we are seriously engaged in Isha Sangena, knowing how important this is, and if we have just this one lifetime, I should not miss this lifetime, then it is said here, Na chirad, it can be very, very quick. It doesn't take a long time. Just like you see, Parikshit Maharaj had only 7 days time. But in 7 days time, he did such perfect Isha Sangena that he overcame. And at the end of 7 days, he went back to Godhead. Shukadev Goswami, to tell Parikshit Maharaj, you may think that, suppose you are told that, okay, in 7 days we are all going to leave our body. You'll all be so concerned, isn't it? Oh, I've got only 7 days time. Of course, Prabhupada says many times we should be so serious because we don't know whether we have even 7 days time. We may not have that much time also. But we all think, everybody in this material world think, oh, he has a lot of time. We are young now. Death will come only at an old age and things like that. But no, it's not like that. It can come any time. So Shukadev Goswami, to tell Parikshit Maharaj, you have 7 days time, do not worry. If you are serious, 7 days time is more than enough to attain perfection. So to convince him, to tell him this, Shukadev Goswami is telling Parikshit Maharaj the story of Khatvanga Maharaj, where Khatvanga Maharaj had just one muhurta. And in that one muhurta, he did the Isha Sangena so well that he went back to Godhead. You know the Khatvanga Maharaj story. He went to the heavenly planet to help the devatas to fight with the Danavas, with the demons, and he won the battle for the devatas, and devatas asked him for a blessing, and he said, no, if you can just tell me how much more lifespan I have left in my quota, how long I am going to live. Devata said, you're going to live just one moment. So he said, I don't want any benediction. I don't even want to stay in the heavenly planet. Because in heavenly planet, Isha Sangena is not so easy because too much of pleasures and attractions are there. So he came down from the heavenly planet. If he had only one moment left, he could have stayed in the heavenly planet. He came down from the heavenly planet because in this planet Earth, the Isha Sangena can happen very nicely. Because our condition of Prakriti Sangena gives us so much realization. That's the reason. So he came down and seriously engaged, and one moment he went back to Godhead. This is Isha Sangena, na chiradi. Isha Sangena is done nicely, it doesn't take a long time. So in the same way, we should also be very, very serious. I'll read a small portion from Prabhupada's passage. So Prabhupada is explaining, so it is not a material thing that if I have to attain this, how much time it will take. Just like if you want to become an engineer, it's a material thing. You cannot become an engineer in 6 months, or you have to spend 4 years. That is engineering degree. So to become a doctor, you have to spend minimum 4 years, maybe 7-8 years also after practicing. So much time because it's a material thing, it has got a material consideration. But spiritual thing, we are trying to attain much more than the material thing, because we are trying to attain Krishna. But it is such a wonderful thing, it's a spiritual thing, that it is not limited by any material condition. So Prabhupada is writing, so it is not material. In material calculation, one has to wait. But here, as it is stated in the Srimad-Bhagavatam, ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamiham. According to the degree of surrender, Krishna consciousness becomes revealed. Ye yatha mam prapadyante, the way you surrender, tam tathaiva bhajamyam, that way I will reciprocate. So it depends upon the degree of surrender. And now Prabhupada writes, that degree of surrender is in my hand. If I surrender fully, immediately, then Krishna consciousness is aroused immediately. It is the degree of surrender that matters. So this is what is, it is such a wonderful thing that I can become Isha Sangena. By doing Isha Sangena, I can so quickly become Krishna conscious, so quickly I can cleanse myself. It doesn't take a lot of time. So that's why it says, Turnam yateta napatet. Turna means very quickly, very seriously we should take to Krishna consciousness as long as I have this material body. Because in this material body, in this human form of life, is a very, very rare opportunity. I should not delay. So one practical, how do we do quickly, or how do we do, Nachirat? Like Prabhupada tells us in our chanting, we should strenuously endeavor to overcome the 10 offenses. If we chant with offenses, then it will happen gradually. It will happen, because chanting with offenses, without everything, it is good only. But if we chant without offenses, then it will happen quickly. Just like the example Prabhupada gives, if you have fallen sick and you go and visit a doctor, the doctor has given you the medicine. But with medicine, the doctor will tell you certain rules and regulations and certain prescriptions he will give you. If you follow those prescriptions and then take the medicine as per the doctor's advice with the rules and regulations, then the medicine will act very quickly, and very quickly you will be freed from the disease. Similarly, in our chanting, we also have a prescription, we have some rules and regulations, we have those 10 offenses. If we properly follow those rules and regulations, then Nachirad, we will very quickly feel the bliss of Isha Sangena. So that is the third point. Then the fourth point is, Prabhupada is writing in this verse, in summary, the living entity is an eternal servant of God. But he comes to this material world and is bound by material condition because of his desire to lord it over matter. So this is our constitutional position. We are eternal servant of Krishna. Muktir hitvanyatha rupam swarupena vyavasthiti. Mukti, real liberation means, as Prabhupada says in Mukti doesn't mean that we have 4 hands. Mukti means, because people think Mukti means going back, that Narayan in that particular form, and that is the meaning of Mukti. No. Hitva anyatha rupam. Anyatha, whatever you have acquired these different designations. I am this, I am that, I am a big man, I am a big manager, I am a big devotee. All this, hitva, you have to give it up. And swarupena. What is your real roop, swarupena? That I am a servant. Vyavasthitihi, being situated in that position. So, we all have come to this material world And all our spiritual practices, chanting, reading, devotee association, and different services that we are doing, is all meant to change our attitude or change our mentality from lording over to servitude. We have to give up this lording tendency. Whether we have lording tendency, even as devotees we demonstrate lording tendency in many places. I want to control outside we were controlling material things. Inside also some kind of a control is there. Yes, I want to control this, I want to control that. Yes, we will have to do our services without this lording tendency. That is very important. So a servant's most important qualification is he is obedient and he has faith in what the master is saying. If we do not have faith in what the master is saying, and if we start arguing and if we start questioning, then our prakriti sangena will continue. Servant means, yes, I have full faith, because servant is serving the master. Master servant means that he just takes the instructions from the master and executes it without asking questions, without having all these different things. So if we do not serve Krishna with that faith that yes, all instructions that Krishna has given me is for my good. Sometimes we do not, we are filled with doubts and there are so many things that come in our minds. But if we have this faith, Krishna is my master, I am the servant. Krishna is Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. I am also one of the soul. He is Suhrid to me also. So I simply have to follow seriously what Krishna is saying. If this attitude is there, then very quickly we can get out of it. If this attitude of faithful service to Srila Prabhupada with full conviction, yes, this is good for me, I must do it, I have full confidence in me, avashya rakshive Krishna. If that is not there, if doubts come in, if arguments start, then the result is, the fifth point, viparyayaha. Result is, the opposite will happen. Here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's stories, how we should hear, or for that this is a verse from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, but it applies to everything. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami saying, Vishwasa Koriya Suno Chaitanya Charitra. Vishwasa Koriya Suno Chaitanya Charitra. With faith hear Chaitanya's Leela. Tarka na kariho, tarke hobe viparita. Tarka na kariho, tarke hobe viparita. Viparyayaha. So we must have full confidence that Krishna's teachings is for my good, Prabhupada's teaching is for my good. I must stick to it. Because if I don't stick to it, if I don't take to it seriously, if I do not do it, sincerely, then we don't know what will happen. If I start argument and if I get into in my services, if I get into all these different, if my servitude nature is not there, then it is not very good. And this material world is full of viparyayaha. It is a very awkward place. It is a place where it's a place, opposite thing will happen, forgetfulness will happen. We are all in the situation right now. Prabhupada quotes one verse. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to hear Chandi Dasa's kritis and his compositions. So he has written very nicely one, which Prabhupada is quoting, about viparyaha, what will happen if you do not do this Isha Sangena seriously. Sukhera, it is coming back to that, how the material association is and how it can completely displace us from all our plans for happiness. He says, Sukhera lagiya eghara bandhinu agune poriya gela. Sukhera lagiya eghara bandhinu. I wanted some happiness, so for happiness I constructed a very nice house. Sukhera lagiya eghara bandhinu. But what happened? Agune poriya gela. My house caught fire and everything was destroyed. I built a very nice house for happiness, but the house caught fire. See, viparyaya. So this is the nature of the material world. That's why Prahlad Maharaj is saying, sorry, padam padam yat vipadam na tesham. And today is, and the day that we are living in today is a perfect example. Look at what has happened to the whole world. Everybody is worried when normalcy will resume. So this is our situation. So these are the things. So just to wind up. So Prabhupada, so here the verse is saying we should give up this prakriti sangena, false association with this material world, by isha sangena, by associating with Krishna, his pastimes and his devotees. And this can happen very quickly. And the result of this can be felt very quickly if we are seriously practicing. And as servants, we must engage in this Isha Sangena seriously, because if we do not, then the material world is very dangerous and opposite thing can happen, viparyayaha, and we are in a very awkward situation in the material world. We should not continue to remain in this awkward situation, but by seriously taking to Krishna consciousness, we can come out of this. So this is what is there in the verse today. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Granthara